Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's episode of Hurling Wants to Score with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course, as always, former Limerick senior hurler Andrew O'Shaughnessy. Hello Andrew, how are you? Are you well?
I'm great, Aidan. Yourself?
Not too bad, no, not too bad. Another interesting weekend of hurling was had, especially I suppose first and foremost in the Munster Hurling Championship. I suppose normal form resumed. Thought it might have been a bit closer, but a convincing win for Ballygunner as we thought. But maybe the Cork champions thought they might have Sarsfields thought they might have been. They might have been a bit better, or might have given them a bit more of a challenge. And I suppose they did at certain points throughout the game. But look, in fairness, Ballygunner always looked in control of this game.
Yeah, you'd expect a better game. Like, so when you get to the Munster Championship or the Leinster Championship, the teams coming out of the counties are invariably the strongest in the county that year. So there's not a huge difference between the counties. Definitely not. She's a 19-point gap or whatever the difference was. It was embarrassing for Sars. Like, they are a good team. They hurl a nice style, but they just had no answer for Ballygunner. And you can make all the justifications and the excuses you want. Bad weather, it was bad weather for both. Bad conditions for both. Long too soon after county final. You can all these, but it's simple fact of the matter is that they just didn't perform, and they'll be as critical of themselves more than anyone else. But it's history kind of is funny enough because that's the last Newtown Shandrop were the last team from Cork to go on and win Munster. And like, I'm not saying Sars should be winning Munster, but they should at least put up a lot better performance than that. Albeit being an exceptional Ballygunner team, but this Ballygunner team have won a few Munsters, have won All Ireland, but before that they've won 9 county champions or 10 even. Like, they weren't as successful in Munster all those years, so they can be beaten. It's just a matter of the mindset, and unfortunately, it just went against Stars, and the more they tried, the worse they got, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I suppose really look at like you could say that, or they could argue that it was too soon after the county final. But I suppose, like, when you compare it to Ballygunner, who haven't played in 2 months, you'd imagine, because they're not long out of their county championship, that Sarsfields would have been kind of fresher and have the more competitive edge. Even though, look at Ballygunner would have been the sharper team or whatever, but that's the way it is. Like, we thought that they'd Sarsfield would have been able to put up a better fight, and I know, like, no one would be more frustrated or annoyed, more than themselves. But yeah, that's the way it is. I suppose Cork champions, you always kind of, I think people more or less expect a bit more from Cork champions. But look at it, it's I suppose the Ballygunner gravy train rides on, and they've a tough, actually they've a tough, I know, well, it's going to be a bit of a tougher game, I think, against the Limerick champions in the Pearshie. That's going to be a right cracker in the next round.
Yeah, most definitely. No, going on. It will be a tougher. Has to be a tougher game because whoever they play next has to put up a better performance than Stars did. Like, that was literally atrocious what they served up in Munster to get 9 points in a hurling match. It's an embarrassment. I imagine the Pearshie put up a better match. Whether they win now or not is another thing. But I've been watching them in the club championship at home. They're tipping along nice without actually hitting the peaks. And I know last year when they played Ballygunner, like, they were superb for the first half hour. But again, this Ballygunner team just wore them down, and they really got into the groove in the second half and kind of blew them away. So Ballygunner will be looking to do the same, but equally in the Pearshie will have a point to prove from last year, and they'll have reference points on what they need to do and where they went wrong and how they can fix those. And especially with Shane O'Neill as a manager, he's a proven track record in Munster. So it's not a foregone conclusion, but I do think whoever's going to win Munster is coming from this semi-final.
And of course, look at, like we're saying against Sarsfields, look at, if it was a closer match, you might be able to have some sort of argument, but it was a hugely convincing hammering. Not to put too fine a word, and I don't mean to want to be cruel, because it's a brilliant sport and all that, but like, that convincing a win, it kind of didn't make for a great game. But look at, they can only Ballygunner can only beat who's in front of them, and I'm sure looking back at that game, they'll have an awful lot. I mean, Sarsfields will have an awful lot of things that they need to put right. Should they make it out of Cork next year and maybe come across them again, come across Ballygunner again next season? But look, like we've seen over the last number of years with this Ballygunner side, how do you stop them? If you try one way, they'll beat you another way. You know that they have they seem to have an answer just for every style of play. So it's kind of very hard to see who can beat them.
Yeah, so like they're a quality team. They've won 10 counties for a reason. So the more you win, the more confidence you get in your system, your style of play. They have an excellent system of playing the ball into forwards. And like they really pass the ball in, and the two corner forwards are over and back across the goals, not in the one position, getting that ball, is playing it in space, they get it, they win, they take it on, they take the scores. One area that I feel in Pierce could actually put pressure on Ballygunner, I haven't seen a team do it here before, is so Stephen O'Keefe takes his puck out, all the full forward lines drop out, and then the full back is freed. Stephen O'Keefe takes the puck out, gives it to full back, goes for a turn, and he's hitting the next ball on the 13-yard line, he's dropping it down inside the square. Whether they win that or not, invariably, if they break it, there's going to be a chance, and that's how they're putting a lot of punishment on. So I feel that the PRC full forward line should really just watch that sharp puck out to the full back in particular, whatever about the cornerbacks, because you're not going to give the ball to cornerback and get the ball back off him, but a full back you give it straight to him and come straight out, get the ball and drive it 80, 90 yards down on top of past the +1 in defence of the other team. So I think the PRC should maybe look towards that. So for the puck outs, don't give as much space to the full back and stop those short puck outs back to Stephen O'Keefe to drive them even longer. So I think that's an area where they could focus in. They could get a bit of return if they push up, I think.
And of course, like we referenced it on last week's podcast, that I think such is the brilliance of this Ballygunner team that you could either puck the ball if you were in the full back line or the half back line and you were to puck it into the forwards. I think you could either play the ball into the space or puck the ball in on top of the forward or whatever, and no matter what ball you play into that forward line, that they still win. They still win the ball, and that's the genius of this Ballygunner team. And of course, I think when you look at it as well throughout the game, I think the right man won the one man of the match as well.
Yeah, of course, they're a fantastic team, but again, if you're the opposition, you're trying to stop them. So if you focus on the puck out and go to a traditional puck out, that means you're just contesting the ball one-on-one on your own half forward line, maybe slightly back. For the defender, then for an Pierce defender or whoever's defending against this Ballygunner team, you're not going out to win the ball, you're going out to spoil the ball. So the first ball in, the primary ball, you spoil that, and the key where the game is going to be won then is on the secondary ball. So who's going to get there to break faster? So if the Pierce can, the first man up, the ball coming in at height, just don't catch it, just break it to the ground, and then savage in around that and win the breaking ball, then you're on the front foot straight away. But with the Ballygunner team, we've seen their forwards are so fast, when that ball hits the ground, they're onto it like a flash. So you really have to stop that momentum to have any chance, I think.
That's it, and of course, yeah, it's very interesting. In the other half, I mean, Clonlara, it's good to see them in the Munster Championship now. That's the other semi-final is going to be very interesting as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tasty, right? Like Clonlara wouldn't expect to win Clare. They won the county a few years ago, but then they went into just on the back foot for a few years, and they're right back into now. They have a nice style of hurling. They have a confidence and they have a good age dynamic of their team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out that side of it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and I suppose really in Clare, I suppose over the last couple of years, it's been mostly kind of 6 Mile Bridge. As well, and Sarah, two teams that have been doing very well in Clare. But I suppose sometimes for the good of hurling in a county, sometimes it's kind of good for hurling there for new champions to emerge, and that's what happens. That is what has happened with this Clonlara team as well, and they seem to be not a bad outfit.
Yeah, no, they're a good solid team. They're fairly even, so they're not overly dependent on a county star. They have numerous county stars, but they all contribute equally. And aside that, then they've lads that aren't on the county team that are playing superb as well. So they're a very strong team. Be a good proposition for themselves and Clare champion or the tip champions when they meet. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, look, Killadangan will be. I think really when you look at Killadangan, obviously we discussed that last week. They came out. I think maybe the fact that they didn't have it easy against Sarsfield, it took 2 games to win the county final. I think that goes to show you how competitive. And we know that anyway. How competitive the Tipperary senior hurling championship is. Regardless of who they meet, obviously in the semi final or whatever, or and if they win that and go into the Munster final, it's tough matches like that. The fact that it took a draw and then a replay, those sort of difficult games will stand to them.
Of course, yeah, and every game this time of year should be difficult, bar the exception last week with Stars. Every game is normally a one-score game, so that'll be the same with Kildang and Conlara. So Kildang, like they had a fantastic win to win Tipperary. They spoke afterwards about the feeling that they should have more players in the county team. So it's all well and good feeling aggrieved about that, but now they have to go out and replicate that performance and push on and show lads that want to be involved with Liam Cahill that they're actually up to the standard, and that standard is the next day against Clonera. Can they hold their hands up again and do what they have been doing in Tip Championship and shoot the lights out? And if they do, it should be a fantastic game. So the thing about these two teams playing, and it's the same with most teams playing in the provincial championship, they go out and actually hurl, but there's very little tactical. Well, there is tactical awareness, but it's very little cynical hurling. It's all literally hurl, speed of hurling, and that's all been good, and it all goes well for a good semi-final between Clonera and Killadanga, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's it, and of course, before we go into Leinster, because as we know, Galway aren't in the provincial championships to go straight into the All Ireland Club championship. It's a serious championship. And what were your thoughts on the county final? I think, has it been played yet?
In Galway?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it has played all right. St. Thomas has won that, I think, 6 in a row. So, again, like they won that at a canter. They won that by 9 or 10 points. So, it's very hard to catch a team like St. Thomas's. So, you really have to keep it. If you give away goals against St. Thomas's, you don't actually stand a chance. So, the key to beating the likes of St. Thomas's, similar enough to with Ballyhale, like if you stop them scoring goals and you pick 1 or 2 goals up, then you have a great chance. And that's what happened in Galway Championship. Thomas has got goals and the canter to an easy victory. Won't stand to him going forward, but they're good enough to get over the next line as well.
And I suppose really with this St. Thomas's team, they always have a good blend. They have hugely experienced players, a lot of players that are used to winning All Irelands, getting to All Ireland finals, things like that. But they are also a club that have always have great players coming through, and they seem to be blending nicely in. But I suppose looking at this St. Thomas's team, is there any players obviously that stand out this year throughout the championship for you?
Yeah, sure. It's easy to be all the Burks, like the spine and the backbone of that team, and maybe the backbone of that club. So they're fantastic, and even their brother is the manager as well. So they're truly linked in with that club, and when they are on form, they're a tough prospect. So again, like if they hit the form like in the semi-final, they'll be a tough opposition to stop.
And of course, moving over to Leinster now, and not long to go now for the Wexford champions, Nevena. They'll be looking forward to flexing their muscles, but I think, like we said last week on last week's show, it's going to be very hard to see. I think the long break will kind of go against them. I mean, everyone likes to have a week or two of a break, but it's like we keep saying about this. It's very hard to kind of keep a team. I know you can have all the friendlies in the world, but it's very hard to keep them motivated. But I know there was a lot of lads that would have been playing football and all that, and that would have been keeping their fitness up. But if you just purely play hurling and you don't play any other sport, that's what are you going to do? You're there twiddling your thumbs for a couple of months. So, I mean, when you look at the other teams that have come out of their county, won the county championships around Leinster as well. It's very hard to see, like, no matter who they get, how they can get a victory against any of those teams.
Yeah, so like ideally, if you want to break, the nicest break deal is 3 weeks. So you've 1 week to get over the match you just won, then you have another 2 weeks, the week in between to get prep, do hard, heavy work, and then you have the last week to lead into the match to ease into it and taper nicely into it. But so when did you say it's the 20th or 25th of August, they won the county final? That's that's too long. I say it every week since then. That's tôt long. That's unfair. What the county board did, that is ridiculous fixtures. It's not fair, and they're giving them no right. So, like, they might get over. I didn't see who they're playing. So, but if they meet Kilcormac Callaghy, they won't win that. If they meet O'Loughlin Gaels, they won't win that. If they meet Kilmacud Crokes, they won't win that. So, like, if they meet Dublin, Kilkenny, or Offaly, they will not win those. If they meet someone else, they might give a chance, but I don't. Like, it's not fair. It's just there's a break, and then there's being being disrespectful to your own county champions. That's just ridiculous. And I'd like to see them go well, but I don't. They won't. I can't see it.
I suppose more realistically, I suppose we know that the strength of how I suppose Carlow hurling has improved. Now we've seen them winning their All Ireland there last season as well. I suppose that's a testament to the quality of hurling in the county as well, the quality of the championship. Obviously, we've seen Mount Leinster Rangers as well. They did well a number of years ago. Maybe I suppose a Carlow champion, the Carlow champions, maybe they might have a good chance against the likes of them.
Well, interestingly enough, now if they do meet the Carlow champions, I didn't see who it was. It could be Mount Leinster Rangers again. Like, they do very well in Leinster for where they're coming from and the quality. Like, they're actually quite a strong team. So I'd nearly tip the Carlow champions to beat Wexford champions, because it's just too long of a break. It goes against all sports science, all planning. Your whole year you plan to win the county championship and then on to provincial championship, and it's all planned and accordingly based on science and tapering and peaks and troughs of when you need them to peak for and when you need their downtime, and that goes out the window when there's a gap, like 2 month gap. It's not fair.
That's it. And I suppose now, we could nearly forget about county championships now, county finals now. In Leinster, it is all about the Leinster club champions now, and regardless of who meets who, there'd be some tasty matches there in the Leinster championship, wouldn't there?
Yeah, no matter what way the fixtures go, once Offaly and Kilkenny meet, the winner from Leinster championship will come from that. That's my prediction anyway. So O'Loughlin Gaels are on a high. They've time to celebrate it, but they've time to get refocused again, and same with Kilcormac Callaghy. Kilcormac Callaghy have clear pedigree in Leinster. They know how to win in Leinster. They've been there. They've done it before. So I think you're going to have a winner from either Kilcormac Callaghy or O'Loughlin Gaels. Whether they meet in the semi-final, they should win the final. If whoever gets through that, or whether they meet in the final, then it should be a good final.
And I suppose really when you look at both teams, both Kilcormac Callaghy and O'Loughlin Gaels, that both teams have good representation on their respective county teams as well. So that'll add to that'll add to it as well. There's going to be great experience there, and that's what makes this match. That's what makes this match all the more interesting to watch as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Every club county champions now, they all have about 2 or 3 representatives on the county panel, so they'll mark themselves off. So you wouldn't be really looking for them to win games, because they're going to be marking the opposition's county player, and normally they'd break even or thereabouts. If someone's ahead, it won't be too far ahead. It's the lads that are just off the county panel that are your strong club player. They're where the matches are going to be won. So Kildangan, as they say, they've no one in the county, so they have a good few that are not county panel, but they're county standard. So that will help them. And same you'll see with their Loughlins now and stuff. It's the lesser lights that are just maybe their county 20s and they're breaking through. They're starting out in their career. They'll have a big impact in the destiny of the Leinster Cup and the Munster Cups.
And of course, I suppose you just mentioned Kildangan there as well. With Kildangan, as you said, the mightn't the players are county standard, but maybe none of them in the county panel. But if they play like they're playing at the moment, it could give Liam Cahill some headaches, and I'd say he'd be probably bringing them in, maybe playing for the provincial league or something, see how they do, and maybe have them in the panel for the National Hurling League and the championship next season. And of course, I suppose the same with Kilkenny. I'm sure there'll be a few O'Loughlin Gaels, a few more O'Loughlin Gaels players in that as well, and I suppose indeed in other counties there might be a few players where they're not on the county panel, but if they play well throughout the Leinster campaign, they'll be putting their hands up for inclusion in the county squads.
Yeah, so it's always perfect. Like if you get out of your county championship and you're trying to make an impression on the inter-county manager watching on the matches, you get a few more games to highlight what you can bring to a county setup. So it's a plus, but it's also a massive minus. So say if you get knocked out, if you're going well in the club championship and you go up to the quarter-final stage and you're shooting lights out, but then you get knocked out, you get called up on the back of that. But if it went on, if you progress further, you might actually play yourself out of the plan. So I'm sure there's people in Derek Ling's thoughts, and same with Liam Cal. So they'll be looking at Killadang and they'll be looking at Loughlin Gates. Oh, this fella, we'll see what he's like. But he mightn't go well in the provincial championship. So they'll just, you rule yourself out. So it can be a good sign, but equally it can be bad at times. So people who might be on the tentative plan for the panel for the year could actually play themselves off the panel before they realise they're even on it.
And of course, another thing that can be that can be very annoying is you could be going on a roll, like playing really well, having a great championship. You get out of your club championship, getting into the provincial championship and flying it, and next thing, an injury, and then you could be missing 2 or 3 games. And then, like, they'll say, "Oh well, he's injured." But but I suppose, having seen that, as a county manager, even if a player gets injured, they might have seen enough before the player got injured that say, "Well, Ginny, he's worth to go. We might call him into the panel and see how he gets on, in a few matches or that." So, I mean, that's the joy. That's the joys. There's also the chance of injuries, which is always very frustrating.
That's it. Like, so if you get injured this time of year, that's your championship over. In presenting championship, you're gone. Like, because you've only, the way this goes, it's only match. You've only one match. You win that, you get on to the next match. You only one match. You can't be looking at the whole semi-finals, finals. You have to just focus on the match next. So if you get injured here, like an injury, depending on the severity of it, it's probably going to be week, 2 weeks maximum. You'll be hoping to miss. But like invariably, you could be missing anything up to 3 to 4 weeks. You know yourself, it's not straightforward. Yeah. It's not literally, I got injured this week, this Sunday, I'm going to be back next Sunday, because you won't come off injured from a match and be good to go the next week. So if someone gets injured this time of year, they'll really have to focus on coming back for next year. And if they're good, if they made an impression with county management, the management are going to obviously bring them in and get them catered for and get their injury healed and give them a chance to have a crack off a panel, inter-county panel set up for team. And sure, that's only fair, because if you're in the plan before injury, you're certainly going to be independence after injury, unless it's the dreaded ACL or something like that.
That's it. And of course, look, we'll give Leinster, or we'll give Ulster and Connacht their a mention as well. Always very interesting club championships as well. Loughlin Shamrocks and a couple of other clubs are very good up in Ulster as well, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like they've proven pedigree. I know you'd say it's easy to get out of Ulster, but it's not, because it's similar to every other county. You have 2 or 3 teams in the county that are really competitive, that are constantly winning the county championship between them, and that gives them the experience being in the Ulster championship. They're used to being there. They're used to getting through the next matches and stuff. So, and when they get onto semi-finals, we've seen numerous in the last 10 years, the amount of Ulster champions have come out and won the semi-final, and Loughlin Shamrocks obviously winning the big day itself, but other teams have been so close against so-called stronger teams.
Yeah. Slaughtneil will be, they were doing the double. They were winning football in Ireland. And I think they got the All-Ireland semi-final as well, didn't they? One year.
And they're not gone away either. And they're your typical example of a team that makes the most of what they have, and they play hurling football, and they're a fantastic team to watch. And it's actually, for a northern team, they actually, when they hurl, they actually go out and they actually hurl. There's no real negative that you see in the football that you so-called other teams, the negativity to bring towards the game. But in hurling, Loughlin Shamrocks are a fantastic, they're a joy to watch.
And of course,
Loughlin.
And of course, then when you look into Connacht, look, it's not senior, but it's an intermediate championship. Well, what can you say about Turin? I mean, they were within a point of Limerick champions last year in the intermediate or junior finals as well. So that just goes to show you how good a quality they are. Obviously, in Connacht there last week or the week before, they bet Four Roads, who are the Roscommon County champions, and won convincingly. So, it goes to show you. I think the Turin gravy train doesn't seem like stopping anytime soon either, until at that grade.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like you're saying, it's a lower grade, but the lower grade still is a grade, and every team in there are equal ability, and they all want to go on and win the provincial championship and obviously the All-Ireland championship. So the quality of hurling is quite good, and it's actually refreshing to see because, like, unlike the so-called stronger teams and stronger counties, when you watch this hurling, it's literally hurling. There's real no negativity. It's just all out hurling. Where you score 5 goals, we're going to try to score 6 goals. It's actually refreshing to watch, and Toreen typify that, and they're a fantastic team.
That's it. Well, listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Hurling Wants to Score with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you, Aidan. See you next week.
That's it, and of course you'll be keeping you'll be probably going or keeping an eye on the Napier game as well. That'll be a game of interest to you. There won't be that's going to be a good game, as we said earlier on as well.
Yeah, it's only in the road, so I'll fly in to give them support. It'll be good to watch. I hope they do themselves justice. Last year they hurled well for half an hour. I'm assuming if they can keep that going for 40-45 minutes, they're in with a great chance.
That's it. Okay, no problem, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Andrew O'Shaughnessy, former Limerick senior hurler, and myself talking about all things hurling.